friends, it's Kathy Clement with Kathy by Design. Welcome to Throwback Thursday. Today we're doing part 2 of a little tutorial that we started on Make and Take Tuesday with simple stories, simple vintage spring garden. We're making a box filled with spring tags, and on Tuesday we made all the tags. So if you missed that, you can go back and catch that tutorial and learn how to make all these adorable tags. And then you'll be ready to roll with us today. Today we're going to make the box. This is a Graphic 45 ATC box with the ATC tags. And I have painted all of my edges with chalk paint. I've done a little bit of, just rubbed a tiny little bit of tea dye distress ink, but not everywhere, mostly on the lid. And today we're going to assemble this box. Here's the paper collection again. And I've worked with it mostly with the 6x8, but I did use some of the 12x12. So if you can do both, that would be helpful. If you can't do both, you probably can manage this with just the 6x8. And the ephemera, the whole supply list is in the tutorial on Tuesday. So I want to go ahead and get started with this. We're not going to have this with a lid that closes. We're going to have this with a lid that stays open. So it's going to be a little display piece. So the very first thing we're going to do is create a panel, a wrapped panel for the back of our box that will keep this standing upright. And I've cut a 4.5 by 5 3/4 inch piece of pretty sturdy chipboard. This is waste chipboard that I had in my stash. And then I've cut a 5.5 by 6 3/4 inch piece of our designer paper. And you can make this project with any paper you have in your stash. Don't feel like you have to use this collection. And if you've never done this wrapping a panel before, it's very quick and easy. It's very much like creating a mini album cover, but we'll just do it together. I'm putting my adhesive on my chipboard and I'm centering it up on the back side of my paper panel, okay? Oops. And I'm using Art Institute Dries Clear Glue. I'm not an affiliate for them or anything. It just happens to be my favorite glue. So I use it a lot. Oops, I forgot to turn my light on. Let's go ahead and do that. There, that's better, isn't it? Sorry. Okay. So I'm just making sure this is nice and straight. Then I'm going to come in with my bone folder and I'm just going to kind of run along this outside edge to sort of pre-crease my paper. And then I'm just going to bend it along these folds. All right. I'm going to bring in my little We Are Memory Keepers bookmaking tool. You can get this at the Button Farm Club. I love this guy. And do you see this little indentation piece? This fits right over my corner. And I'm just going to come in with my pencil. And I'm going to make a mark on each of these corners. And that's going to show me where to cut my paper so that I get a nice square corner. And you can do this without this tool, but boy, this tool sure does make it easier. I'm going to come in with my scissor and I'm going to cut on the inside edge of these lines that I've cut, that I've drawn. I'm going to come back in with my adhesive. I'm going to put some along this edge and on the flap. And then just use your bone folder to press this into place. I'm just going to trim this little nub off right here. All right. I've got a little nub right here. Okay, this looks really good. So I've put score tape on the back part of our box. And I'm going to pull this off. And I'm just going to press that into place. And now I'm going to take this panel, I'm going to ink my edges. And I'm going to center it up. And you see how this is going to hold this open. It's just a really great way to make this box function a little bit differently. All right. So see, now that lid will stay open. Well, once the glue sets up, it will. So if you use score tape, you won't have that problem. It will hold instantly. So I'm just going to set this aside for a moment, or I'm going to lay it down like this. And I've cut my panels to line the inside of my box. The inside lid is 4 5/8 by 3 3/8. And don't worry, I'm going to post all this information in the description box below this video. So you can just go get the measurements there. Makes it a little easier, I think. So I cut this pretty little border piece to go right here. Make sure I'm straight. There we go. And just press that into place. Isn't that pretty? And then, okay, so now I think we can open this up. For the sides, I cut 2 3 by 2 1/8 inch pieces. And these are just going to slip right down in here. I'm going to use my bone folder to press that into place. And I realize that's a little bit difficult for you to see, but there it is, done. Then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Then for the long sides, we want 3 7/8 by 2 1/8. Actually, I'm going to put the bottom in first. This is 3 7/8 by 3. There we go. Sometimes you just have to work with that a little bit and then just come in with your bone folder and press it down nice and square. And now I will do these long sides. So you can see this goes very fast. There's the front one. And now we'll do that back one. There, so that's the inside done. Pretty simple, right? Now we're going to do this front piece. This is 4 inches by 2 1/4 inches. And this is going to go right here. And then the sides are 3 by 2 1/4. And you'll need 2 of those. And I just use this little patchwork pattern from the 6 by 8 because it doesn't matter directionally kind of where it ends up. It just looks good however you do it. All right. Now, we have to make a false bottom to go on this if we want to use our box feet, because as you can see, this won't do very well. See, it doesn't meet. So I've prepared 2 pieces of 4 3/4 by 3 5/8 chipboard, and I'm going to glue these together because I want it to be I want it to have some thickness. And then we're going to cover this with a 5 3/4 by 4 5/8 inch piece of our patterned paper. And we're going to do this exactly the same way that we did that panel for the back.
My Lord is like cool spring wind when I am tired, laden. My Lord's like cool blue pond when I am hot and fading. My Lord's my strength, the reason I try. Though times are hard coming, my Lord's my pillow, which I lay my head, and I will answer his beckon.
And then this is a 4.5 by 3 3/8. So now that we've done this, we're just going to glue this bottom just like this. And it's really important that you make sure you're lined up, because that's what you're going to glue your feet to. And I didn't have to put this panel there. You can leave this blank. That was me being overly cautious. All right. Go ahead, line this up. And I'm just going to let that sit for a few minutes and dry.
When we sail that final shore, Jesus had...
Before I put my feet on, because it's a lot easier to work and you have to let those feet set for a long time, I'm going to make a little pocket, and this is cut to 5.5 by 2.5, and this is cut from the 12 by 12 paper, and I've scored a 1/2 inch on the sides and the bottom, and I'm just trimming where there's those scored lines meet, and then I'm going to fold. And this makes a beautiful little pocket to go on the back. I'm just putting my adhesive on the flaps. I'm going to put this down right here. That's sweet. So in the pocket, we can take a couple of our pretty tags and put those in, so we can write a little note in there. I'm going to pull these out. Actually, I can tell that bottom flap needs to be pressed down with my bone folder. There we go. Sometimes you just have to get inside and press those things down, because they have a tendency, like they're adhered, but they're not really sticking, if that makes sense. So let's put these pretty little tags in there. Go into our stickers and take Bloom. Put it right here. And then across the top, let's take Sunshine. That's really cute. I'm going to put this little heart right here. So that's a really cute little pocket. And then our tags go in the pocket. And I bet if I look, I can find a tea bag to go in there too. So that turns this into kind of a fun little gift as well. Okay. I'm going to put a dab of hot glue right here on the inside. Then I'm going to take my bauble and press it down into that hot glue. Then I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to adhere this along the top. I'm going to use my Dry's Clear to do that, I think, rather than score tape, because 1/8 inch score tape has a way of giving way, and I want this to stick. And you can see how much easier it is to do this without those feet on, because they're kind of, you know, they take at least a couple of hours to really set up well. And you don't want to end up having them come off, because then They just never hold as well again. So if you want to use 1/8 inch score tape, feel free. I just, I feel like the dries clear holds better, so I'm going to use that. There we go. All right. Okay. I'm going to tie a little bow with this. So I added a little miniature gardenia to the top, and I'm going to take my daisy here and put it right on the corner of my birdhouse. And then I'm going to put my little cherry blossom and a soft pastel yellow gardenia in the mix with that. And that's going to be real sweet. Let's see. Just like that. There we go. And I'll do a little string bow in there. There we go. Here we are. Our little front is finished. I added some frogging trim along the bottom just to kind of dress up that bottom edge, and I love the way that looks. It's really sweet. And then I put another little row of it across the top just to create consistency. There's our bow with our gardenia and our little bauble. I didn't do anything on the sides. Here's our pocket on the back, and I have things prepared to go in there, but right now, well, I'll show you how these go in first, because actually once I put the feet on, everything has to come out. So let's bring in our tags. And our large tags, this large tag goes at the back. And then I'm putting a small tag in the space in between it and the flowers. And then this large tag can go here. And then these two small tags, which got tangled up, can go in the front. And we have just enough room to slip in a Biscoff cookie and some Ghirardelli chocolate. So that's a really fun little surprise in there in between the tags. Then on the back, I used my scraps of paper to create a little tea wallet, and it has a little belly band on it that slides off, see? And then our tea is on the inside, and you've seen me do these before. And recently I just did a whole tutorial where I show you how to make these. So now I can't get it back on. There we go. So this goes in the pocket. I dressed up a honey stick, and it goes in the pocket. And then I've got this sweet little tag, and it goes in the pocket. And I've got a vintage spoon, and it goes in the pocket. So there's everything that goes in the pocket on the back. Actually, I think I'm going to put the spoon and the honey stick on the front, because I think they'll fit at the back and do much better than they are. There we go. See, that works. So what a cute gift that is. So now I have to take all of this out and I'll show you how to put the feet on. You cannot use hot glue to do the feet. You have to use like some sort of like super glue, or I use my Dries Clear, and I find it works pretty darn well. So I'm going to take my little feet, I'm going to bring in my adhesive, and the glue needs to go into these corners and on this little bottom piece. And then this will just fit, she says, over that corner. All right. So there's one. And once you put the feet on, it really does, it is the finishing touch for the box. It is so pretty with the feet on it. So there's two. I'm just pressing that bottom one really, really into place. Then I'm going to turn this to the front very carefully, and I'm going to bring in the other 2 feet. And this really needs to set up, I mean, even ideally overnight before you try to do anything with it, because the glue will be soft set in probably about 15 to 20 minutes, but you don't want to put any stress on it really until the next day. And even then, I mean, they're delicate little things, right? You have to be kind of careful with them. But you can see, I'm just going to very softly set this down. How sweet is that with its little feet? Whoops, and see, they fell off. So anyway, you see what I mean? That glue has to set. You really can't do anything until the glue sets up. And you just are going to frustrate yourself if you try. So don't do what I just did. Wait. It's worth it to have them be good and set. I mean, super glue maybe would do it immediately, but I don't have a good track record with super glue. I tend to glue myself to the thing. So I'm just going to use my Dries Clear, and I'll be patient. But that is our Throwback Thursday, finishing up the box for that's those sweet little spring tags made with Simple Stories, Simple Vintage Spring. And I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you make some cute little home decor for yourself using this idea. If you enjoyed this, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, I would love to have you along for the journey. I'm always sharing creative ideas and tutorials here. Thank you so much. I'm going to clean up my mess and go get my craft on. Bye.